How do you break bad habits? How do you overcome addictions? How do you conquer yourself? My name is Nagadesh, and for the last 14 years of my life, I have struggled with porn. I have struggled with alcohol and weed for the last 4 years of my life. There were moments that I didn't think I could ever overcome my addiction. I pushed away family, I pushed away friends, I failed classes, and it brought me darker and darker into dark places, which I never thought I could get up from. I know what it's like to be in darkness. I know what it's like to wake up every single day and feel like you have to do it. Feel like you have to pick up the nicotine. Feel like you have to pick up the weed. You have to do it because it's there. I know what it's like, and I want to show you the way out. And the way out is as simple as going through the desert. The desert is the place in between where you are and where you want to be. It's the place where habits go to be born and habits go to die. And that is where we're going to be headed. I'm going to show you everything that you need to learn so that in the next 40 days, you are going to overcome any habit that you have. This journey is going to take a while, but changing your life only takes 40 days. I never thought I could last 40 days because the longest streak I've ever had was 14 days. 2 weeks, that's it. And you're telling me I have to go for 40 days? That seems impossible. Yeah, it is a bit impossible. That's why we need a bit of help, and that's where we lean on God. God is going to be the strength that you need for the desert. The desert is meant to break you, starve you, and ultimately ask you one question, which is, what do you want? What do you want out of life? And if you can answer that question with honesty and desperation, you are going to get that thing that you want. And this isn't just to overcome addictions. This is for a business. This is for life in general. If you want that girl, if you want that relationship, if you want that life, you have to go through the desert. At the end of these 40 days, you are going to have a stronger relationship with God. You are going to love yourself more, and you are going to have other people love you more. You're going to be more confident. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be kinder. And it's because of the effort that you put into these next 40 days. Imagine for the next decade or the next 2 decades, you can change your life if you just put in the effort for these 40 days. We're always looking for instant gratification. We're always running to the thing that makes us feel good when we are uncomfortable. And when we feel good, we'll start clinging on to it. And that is the biggest problem that we face. We start clinging on to things that make us feel good. But we have to understand that there's more to life than just porn. And that's what we're gonna figure out. We're going to fall in love with life. But before we fall in love with life, we have to go through the desert. And before we go through the desert, you have to answer these 3 questions. One of those questions is, what do you want out of life? If you are going to give up something you care so deeply about, what do you want out of life? Life offers you so many different things, but I want you to write down the things that you want out of life. Do you want a family? Do you want kids? Do you want a wife? Do you want power, money? What do you want out of life? Because life can offer you so many different things. And when you can answer that question honestly and it makes you feel something inside, you are going to be one step closer to those 40 days. The next question is going to be, if you had $100 million in your life right now, what would you do for the rest of your life? Everybody's gonna travel first, but what do you wanna do after that? Do you wanna be a baker? Do you wanna be a TV producer? Do you want to be a magician or an artist? So many of us push away the art career or the art jobs because everybody tells us, oh, go do engineering, go do computer science, because that's where the money's at. We are going to stop chasing the money and start chasing our passion. If you don't know your passion, that's okay. I'm going to help you figure out how. But I'm not going to be the only one who's going to help you. God is going to help you. And that's our 3rd question. If you were to make a deal with God, what would it be for? In 3rd grade, there was an Excel test, which if you passed it, you would get into the advanced kids group. And my dad wanted me to take the test because, well, all the other Indian kids were doing it. So I went ahead and took the test. Spoiler alert, I am not a good student. And so I took the test and I got the results back a couple weeks later. I failed. My dad looks at me and he says, really, Naga? All the other Indian kids did it, you didn't? And so 4th grade, I was determined. I was gonna pass that test. I was going to make my dad proud. I tried so hard. And then I got the results back. I failed again. My dad looks at me and he says, you're going to summer school. And then 5th grade, right before I took that test, which I studied so hard for, I looked up to the heaven, I looked up to the light. I didn't even know what I was trying to talk to. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who God was. I asked, if you can help me pass this test so I can make my dad proud, I'll give you my RuneScape account. Listen here, my RuneScape account meant everything to me, okay? I worked so hard on it. I spent hours. I was a level 84. A couple weeks later, I get the test results back. My dad calls me into his office, looks at the results, and he says, "You passed. You did it." And I was celebrating. I was like, yes, I did it. And then I run to my RuneScape account. I have to go check. I have to make sure that it's still there. And when I checked it, I still had access. I still had it. And in that moment, I was freaking out. I was like, yes, I get to pass and I get to keep my RuneScape account. Yes, God is good. God is good. And I'm not kidding you. 1 month later, my account gets hacked and I never see my RuneScape account ever again. And that lesson taught me 2 things. 1, God is good. And 2, God always keeps his promises. So whenever you make a deal with God, he will always come through. And that's exactly what I did. I wanted to break free from my addiction, but I needed an incentive. And so I told God at the start of quarantine, God, if you give me the love of my life, 1 year from now, I will give you my porn. I will give you my alcohol. I will give you my weed. The things I care so deeply about, I will give it to you. And that's what led me to being over 200 days clean. Not only am I 200 days clean, I've conquered my inner demons. I've conquered myself. And this isn't a story about me. This is a story about you. Because you can do it too. If I could do it, you can do it too. And it might seem difficult right now, but in our weakness, we will find strength. That is his promise. In our weakness, there is strength. Even a weak man has some strength. I'm going to give you all the lessons that I've learned. I'm going to give you everything that's going to help you get through these 40 days and help you succeed in your journey. And it all starts with you answering those 3 questions. What do you want out of life? What would you do with $100 million? If you were to make a deal with God, what would it be for? If you can answer those 3 questions honestly, we're going to be 1 step closer to a whole new decade of your life. So that was the first lesson and our first exercise. Make sure that you continuously practice them and repeat them. But make sure that you don't forget and that you keep moving forward. Because this journey is going to be hard. You are going to have sleepless nights, you are going to be hungry, and you are going to be tempted. But in those nights, what do? You keep moving forward. And in these next couple days, if you get tempted, make sure that you run away from your addiction. Make sure that you run away from your computer. Make sure that you run away from the nicotine or the alcohol, the weed. Just run away. If you're ever triggered, just run. Just go outside, go outside, go into a different room, go jogging outside. And if you can't, just keep all that stuff outside of your room and just lock yourself in it. Because those feelings that you feel are going to pass. And when they do, you are going to be stronger for it. Because on the other side of pain is peace. So make sure that you continuously do that. And for every like, every share, and every subscription that we have on this channel, we are going to share the message, the good message of God, but also how to overcome your addictions, how to overcome the terrible things that have held us back for so long. And it all depends on you guys continuously sharing, continuously liking, continuously commenting, so that I can improve the content for you guys and you guys can improve your lives. I will be posting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You guys are going to be 1 step closer to finding strength in the unknown.